Well, good morning, everybody. This is Morning Watch. And again, this is Apostle Timothy Craig saying that God is up to something good in your life. Listen, this is Friday morning. In a couple of days, everybody know what time it is. It is Mother's Day. We've been celebrating mothers all week long. We've had Dr. Bev on. We've had Pastor Noel on. And guess what? We got them back on again today. We're going to have a good time today. We hope you've been doing some things or planning some things for your mothers for this weekend. We know all the restaurants is going to be packed up. We know everybody going to come to the house. We all going to cook and hang out or go out to eat or whatever the case is. Just do something this week to honor your mother, or if you don't have a mother, honor a mother figure that is in your life. But before we get into all of that, check out who is here. It is my brother like no other. It is my sister from another mister. Listen, this is Pastor Allen Noel. Y'all tell them what's going on this morning with y'all.
Well, you already know who it is. Who is it? It's your boy, Pastor Al. Hey, it's good to see y'all. And y'all see who I got next to me? This lovely, sexy, yellow skin young girl. I'm
Yellow
so
skin, come
excited.
on.
Hey,
Yo,
Come
hallelujah.
on,
Hey.
testify.
He's a
Huh?
prince.
So baby, tell them who you is.
You already told him.
Hey, who is it?
Good
It's
morning.
it's your girl.
It's me, Pastor
Yeah,
Noel.
there she go.
All
Amen.
right,
Let's
that's your
get it
girl.
going. Hey, put it back to Tim. There you go.
You so special.
All right, y'all, and y'all already know who the other two are. It is the mama and the daddy. It is the doctor and the rotique. It is Doctors Alfred and Beverly Craig. Y'all say what's up to the people.
What's
What's up,
up,
everybody?
everybody?
This is my Pastor Craig, and we're just excited to be here this morning or this afternoon. Whenever you're watching this, we're excited to be with you all today. We got something very special because, like I said, we have the ladies with us today, and we are so excited about this. And we're looking to celebrate mothers as we've done all this week, especially also on this coming weekend. But Dr. Bev, give them a great big welcome at this time.
Yes, good morning, ladies. How are you all today? We thank God that you're with us this morning. And you all know this is Mother's Day weekend. And it's a shame they got to just give us a weekend, or one day. But every day to us ought to be Mother's Day. And ladies, you need to learn how to continue to celebrate yourselves. And just know what God is getting ready to do in your life. And He's always wanting to do that, but you have to let Him. So we just thank you for joining us on Morning Watch.
All right,
All
back to
right, y'all.
Tim.
Yes, all right, y'all. Listen, this is gonna be a good day, but let me put a warning out here to my brother and respectfully my daddy. Alfred, I don't need you talking about my sister. Even though she here, I already know what you're gonna do because y'all. I wasn't here yesterday, so I know that there was a little bit of disrespect going on with Al. And Daddy, all 100% respectfully. I don't need you talking about my mama while she here because you did some talking while she wasn't here. So let's get this thing together. Let's get it right, and let's have a good time today. All right, so Pastor Al. Actually, let me start with Pastor Noel and then Dr. Bev, and then we'll all start talking a little bit. Pastor Noel, let me know, uh, what do you see that's different in your life compared to how you grew up with your mother, compared to how you're mothering now? Is it a lot of mothering things that you took from her that you didn't really understand back then? That did any of it change because you're born again now, and now a little bit different? Or was your mother saved at the time that you were young? Or did some things change and then her mothering style change, which kind of changed your mothering styles? Like, how did that whole relationship thing work? And as far as how you are a mother right now compared to how she was a mother in your life.
Well, it is a difference a little bit now, but no, my mom was not saved when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, when I was a young girl. And when I became a mother, I wasn't either. So
Okay.
there is a big difference now from when I first became a mother versus now, right? So I do have different ways that I see things. I do things a little bit differently. Some of the things that, I always say this, I'm so grateful that my son turned out the way he did because I didn't, like I said yesterday, I said that, or this morning, I said, whatever. There's no instruction manual for children when you have them. You just kind of just got to go as you go. And there were some things that I may have done that probably should have been done differently, where it could have affected his life in a different way. So I'm just
Okay.
grateful that I didn't stumble too many times along the way. And
Right.
as far as the difference you asked me between, I think some of the style that I see different, or I see now that's kind of the same, is I'll be saying, I hear myself saying little things that my mom used to say. Do as I say, not as I do. I used to do things like that. So,
Right.
um, yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. Uh, Mom, what do you have to say? Your mothering, your mom's mothering style compared to your mothering style. I know you got the spirit of throwing stuff that grandma had a little bit. You know what I mean? So you got
Yes,
that
yes,
arm on you.
yes.
Got that arm. But was she born again and saved when you were small in your upbringing, or was she not saved? And then did that change at some point? And what was it then? And did it affect your mothering style that you have now?
Mm-mm. Well, my mother, she was not saved. She was born a Baptist. She had that Baptist spirit. She had that Baptist spirit. And I would say for myself, my mother, she was a how can I explain my mother? She was a loving mother, and she raised us in the way that the best she knew how to raise
Right.
us.
Right.
And when she, and then when and then because she was a mother, it was 22 of us, and so as she was coming up, and as I saw her, let me put it that way, as I saw her, she was always cooking, she cleaned. Later on in life, when she wanted to go to work, my father let her go to work, and she worked, and she come back home and she still worked. And so, and most of those attributes I still have today. And I patted myself after her. But when you get on her last nerve,
Oh yes.
everybody just flee, just get out of her way.
Absolutely.
So I guess I took on that same thing, and I'm the same way. Even at home, Al have to tell me, why don't you just sit down? Why don't you just rest? But I'm just constantly going because that's the way I was raised. And like on my with my mom, she would go get groceries and bring them back home, and we have to help put them away. And then every Saturday we had to clean the whole house. When I say clean the whole house, I mean, like, take the rugs up out of the house and take them outside and beat them to
Right.
get them clean, or get the water hose and wash it down. When we had to use cleaning products to really clean. And so I guess that was some of the things that I had came up when I was a child. And my mother, she was always a dresser, and I always saw that. It wasn't a time that I didn't see her dressed up, but when she's at home, she wouldn't dress up, but she would still get up and fix breakfast for my father, and cook dinner and stuff for him. So those are some of the things that I still do today. And it's just something that people say, why don't you just sit down? You're always moving. But that's just
Right.
inbred in me to do that. And it's not so much to where, I was made to do that, but it's just something that I, as a woman, that's, if I'm married, that's what I do. And that's who I am.
Got it. Got it. Okay, now, Pastor Al, what are some things that you see that are similar? Give me like one or two things that's similar between the way mom raised you and some things that you see in Noel, how she raises the kids that you all have as well. Some similarities and a few differences.
Ooh, similarities always got something to say. It's
Now
like,
hold
oh
on
my
now I done
God, can
told
we
you about
just
this already.
well, you asked. Always got something to say. Always got a point to prove.
Oh,
It's like,
yes.
okay, you said it. You ain't got to keep telling me. You said it. It's done. And that's why I probably got in trouble with mama all my life. You know what I mean? I love her, but like, Lord Jesus, mom, Noel doing the same thing. Noel, I heard you the first time. You ain't got to keep saying it.
You need to acknowledge me.
And like mama always said, you need to acknowledge me then, boy. Noel just said it right now. You need to acknowledge me then. So
Right.
so that if anything, that was the thing. And then as far as the kids, uh I think Noel has the attributes of mama now, because mama back then was a little bit more aggressive. Noel now with my children and with our children now is Noel's like to talk and like because Justin said he that Noel does a little bit different with Lily and AJ that he did with them.
See.
Like back then
Mm.
with Justin, she was more chop chop. You do what I say, and it is what it is. You ain't gonna say nothing, or I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna punch you. Now with Lily and AJ, she's more honey, baby. Can you? Hey, Noel, tell them what you got to tell them. You ain't got to do all that. But honey, and I know Mama doing the same thing. And I be like, Mama, you didn't raise us like that. You tell them what to do. We do
For
it, or
real.
we gonna feel it. So
For
Okay.
that's the
real.
difference. I see that's I'm seeing the same qualities with both of them in both areas like that.
Got it. Got it. All right,
Yeah.
Dr. Craig. What are some similarities? Because we know that your mother passed when you I believe 14 or 15, right?
16, yeah.
16. And so
Yep.
there wasn't a lot of time that you got to have with her, but the time that you did, what are some of the similarities and what are some of the differences in her mothering style with you than the mothering style of mom with us and even with grandkids?
Well, number one, one thing I see in my wife, Dr. Bell, is that if only you ever see the picture of my mom, she was a dresser. That one
Yeah,
picture of God,
yeah,
she had the earrings on, and she loved
Cool.
keeping her hair together. So she was a dresser, and I think that was one of the things that was very similar as far as the way both of them, they dress and things like that. They both are cook, which was what important to me because my mother, she cooked, she loved to cook and provide for us as children and things like that. So I see that same thing. My mother would always go to the grocery store on Saturday, get my daddy's check and make sure she buy groceries like that. That's something that Bev does all the time too. She makes sure that there's food on the table and things like that. Really, and that's areas. And then with as far as the kids are concerned, my mother is very protective of her kids. I mentioned the other day about how my mom my brother Don Jay was out there fighting in the street up there. My mom went out there and jumped and jumped on the boy. Said, you don't be hitting my boy. You don't be hitting my
right.
boy. You know what I mean? So Bev the same way. You know what I mean? We seen her. I think Albert mentioned the other day about how in the back of the church house, she was one of your friends, your girlfriends or whatever there, and she's back there getting ready to fight her. You know what I mean? So they had that fight. Both had that fighting spirit and things like that. My mom would fight, and but then she was again very kind. She was she really went to bat for me. I mentioned to you many times about how my mother. I was 5 years old. And my mother, went to get me into school and things like that. I saw Bev really do that a lot with you all and them, especially with Shakora, how she'd be at that school all the time with Shakora and things like that. So I see that same fighting for your children in both of them. You know what I mean? So that same thing. And so I've seen that mothering also in those areas. And like I said, my mama didn't play. She didn't play, you know what I mean? And so Bev don't play. So I mean, so a lot of those similar, they said a lot of time we're sometimes we're drawn to women that are a little similar to our moms and those, especially as men. So yeah, very much so, very much so.
I would say too, concerning that on with the children, it's not so much that I like to fight kids. It's called
Yeah, you
discipline.
did.
No, it's called discipline because kids can get to a point to where they will test you. Because Alfred was a tester, and that oh Lord,
No, I think you
I
took out.
understand
I
what
think you
Noel
just
be going. I understand
right.
what Noel's going through, but Alfred was a tester. I'm talking about he tested me, because normally it take a whole lot for me to get upset, but it's not. It's like Noel said, you tell your kids, do as I say, not as I do, but that don't work with a lot of kids.
That's right.
And so he tested me. I guess it's those teenage years or something else. And so we was in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Tell it,
and
mama. Tell it.
Alfred.
Tell it.
Oh yeah,
TMI,
I'm gonna tell
TMI.
it.
There you go.
Tell it.
Tell it.
Yeah. So Alfred, he just got on. He was just messing with everybody. I guess he wanted to. I don't know what he wanted to do. I don't know what
Watch the
where his
game.
mind was. And so
Attention.
he got on Charity's nerve, and then he got on Tim's nerves, and then Charity come in and hollering and carrying on, and Tim was always pretty quiet. I guess he was smart. If Alfred get in trouble, I'm not gonna get in trouble. I'm just gonna let him get in trouble by himself. And so he just kept on, and kept on. And so Alfred, he was took up wrestling, and I was in my bedroom in the closet cleaning up, and Alfred was just egging and egging him. And so I picked up something. I was getting ready to hit him, and he put me in a headlock.
What?
Tell it, tell
No
it, tell
way.
it.
Tell it. Tell it. Tell it.
This boy,
TMI.
he put me in a headlock. And when he put me in a headlock, and I was like, I know he just didn't put me in a headlock.
I was
And
Right.
so
trying to
what
get you
I
off me.
started
Like,
doing,
mom, stop.
yeah, exactly. But you don't put nobody in no headlock, especially your mama. And so what I
Right.
started to
She
do,
kept punching me in my face, y'all. She kept punching me in my
anyway,
face.
I would
And
know because he had me in a headlock and I couldn't do nothing. And so I took both my fists and I was doing this. I was coming up.
She was hit me everywhere. Hit me
I said,
everywhere.
"What?"
that's funny.
And then he let go and he took off and went outside. But I just like I said, like, you're not gonna get the best of me because I'm gonna become Mama Ali.
Okay.
I was literally punching. But because sometimes kids, they wanna they kids want to test you, but you just can't let kids tell you. You gotta put them in
No.
their place and I put him in his place and put his behind out. His daddy was in
Ow.
Arizona. And I put him out. Even though he was still in high school, I put him out. So you're not going to do that in my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you have to say about that, Al? Go ahead. Go ahead and testify.
Yeah, let me say my side of the story. So
Yeah,
what
tell it.
happened was we were, it was always said whoever gets to the remote first can watch whatever
Oh,
they
yeah.
want. I was able to watch what I wanted because I got the remote first.
Hmm.
Tim and Charity decided that day they didn't want to watch sports that day. They wanted to watch what they wanted to watch. So Charity went back. She's great. Charity went back. Tim didn't say too much. Charity went
Right.
back. Mom, I don't want to
Yeah.
watch no sports. I don't want to watch no
Right.
sports.
Right. Right.
Now, this is where the story. Mom is twisting the story up.
How
I
much
was.
was
She kept pushing. She kept pushing me. Do what
because
I
you
tell
was
you. I said, Mom,
arguing.
okay, Mom, but the agreement everybody made, now I do got a mouth. I got a mouth just like her. I ain't gonna lie. I do got a mouth. I acknowledge I do got a mouth. I gotta get my point across. And until I get my point across, I deal with the consequences later on. But right now, you gonna hear my point. So she just kept going on, and Mama just kept going. I said, Mom, the agreement was whoever turned the TV on first, we can turn the TV on. So she said, I don't care now. It don't matter what. You ain't gonna they gonna watch no sports. I said, Mom, that's not right. Hold on. Then mom, she punched me in my face, hit me in my eye. So I said,
Because you were
Mom,
talking back.
don't hit me no more. Mom kept hitting me in my face. So for me to defend myself, she came forward. I grabbed her like this. Then I was
Don't
trying
put
to
me in.
hold her.
No.
I was trying to hold her like from stop hitting me. Like she hit me, y'all. Mom know how to hit. Mom know how to punch. Like she said, Muhammad Ali. She was doing Muhammad Ali on me. So I'm in the closet now. I'm in the closet like this, like Mom, stop, stop, stop. And then finally so I couldn't get her to stop because she was doing this too, y'all. Uppercuts, uppercuts. She was hitting me in my jump. She was hitting me in my jump, so my jump
Everywhere.
started hurting. So I had to run. I had to run out of the room. I ran outside, and when I ran outside, that was the worst mistake I did because then she kept me outside for 3 or 4 days.
So did.
So that's how the story happened, y'all. Yes, thank
And
you.
but the thing is, you shouldn't talk back. Don't
Yeah.
talk back.
Yes.
Well,
Stop
you
talking.
taught me. You taught me, and you said the other day you taught me to be a very opinionated, and I had to get my point across
I
and
see.
get to understand what happened.
That's
So
true.
But
Okay,
sometimes you
I'll
gotta.
give you that one.
Now, see,
thank you,
y'all,
love
I
you.
didn't even know that. I didn't know that. So I knew he got put out, but I didn't know they was in there, scrapping and
Give
carrying
me a
on.
place.
Uh, I didn't know
Oh,
they was in
and
there
y'all,
scrapping.
and you know what? And Tim was the innocent one. Tim. I don't know if Tim remember this. Tim, every night while Mama was asleep, Tim used to feed me some food, breakfast and
Yeah,
dinner through the window. Remember that,
Oh,
so
Tim?
that's
Remember
did.
that?
sweet.
Yeah,
I don't
Oh.
I
know if you
do
remember
remember
that.
having. I was like, why am I feeding this man from outside? Okay, yeah, but
So
but
did. Don't feed
but you
him.
was
Don't
homeless.
give nothing.
That's what it was.
I was homeless.
Yeah, you was homeless and you didn't have nowhere to go. So I was like, you know, went to go make a little something and then feed him outside the window, make sure nobody was coming. Okay.
Oh.
Yes,
Woo.
yes, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Now,
Oh
This is
Lord.
now, now,
hilarious.
y'all, I need y'all to remember this is the pastor wife and the pastor son. Okay,
Yep.
all in ministry school, all got a church. First lady.
Right.
But that first lady, she had them nails back then, but she still had them hands. You understand? She had them
Okay.
paws.
Yes, sir.
You know, and them nails wouldn't even break. But if a nail did break and she was hitting you or throwing something at you,
Yep.
that was even worse.
That
It's
was
So
worse.
over. That's
yeah,
right.
it is over then. So um let,
Oh,
let,
Jesus.
let me ask this to
That's cute.
Dad first, and then the Al second. Dad, was there ever a time that she was disciplining us as kids that you was like, all right, babe, that's enough now? Or was it just like, go ahead and do what you need to do? Or was there ever a time you saw her disciplining us that you was like, babe, that's good. You're going a little bit too far now? Or was it always she just do whatever she do and you just do what you do type of thing?
You know, her one thing I've learned is that we're different. You follow me? And
Yeah.
so, of course, a lot of the things that she would do, I did not fully agree with the way she did it and things like that. And so, but sometimes when I would kind of interject, it would do more harm than good. So I learned just back up and things like that because again, sometimes discipline styles, like I was like, it take a lot to have me to fight in those areas. But that's normal for her. I mean, she was like, like, but she said it when they was raised with their family though, they fought.
Oh, yeah. That was normal for
That was
them.
normal for them.
Yeah.
They fight. But see, in my family, we've never, me and my brother said we never have fought before, physical fight. We've never done it before. So I had to grow and understand that we're different. Not mean that one is right, the other one is wrong. We're just different, and the way we see things are different, and way and our perception and our reality of right is different. I had to understand that. So that's why many times I had to back up in those areas, even though I didn't totally agree with it. But I had to learn that that's her style, that's her reality, and thing like that. So that's why I had to do in those areas. But a couple of times I would do, but I would see that it would not do any, it would not really solve any problem. It would create a whole new problem. So I backed up on that point for that reason.
So then there was times you saw us getting beat and you decided to do nothing to help us. You just let her be. Is that what you're trying to say? You was like, all right, babe, that's too much, but
Yeah.
but I don't really want to get in it because it might cause a bigger
Right.
problem for me afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that go. I just got to turn my head, and even though I know my kids are suffering right now, I'm gonna go ahead and let Bev do whatever she wants. Is that what you're saying?
That's
sometimes
so
there
funny.
were times though, especially that I would do discipline and she would step in.
Oh, sure enough, because he would just go off on them.
Yeah,
I would say, no,
because when people,
I go off on my kids, not you.
yeah, when
Right,
she
right,
put me to,
right.
when y'all put you to, then I would go, and she would put me up because I go like from 1 to 10 real
Yes,
easy,
very
and
easy.
since she
Right.
could see that, and so she would step in those areas. But like I said, but with her, because I know that her personality like that, it would do more harm than good. So yeah, so I had to go ahead and calm her down. But she got better as time went on. But y'all kind of went through it a little bit more.
All right, all right.
but
Pastor
again,
Al,
in those
what
areas.
about you? Was there something that was there a time that Noel was, like disciplining the kids and or grandkids or whoever, and you was like, all right, that's a little bit too much, let me step in? Or was it just, hey, that's what she gonna do, let me just let her do her?
Well, for me, I've learned over a time period, I didn't get into certain things unless it got serious. I'm very black and white. I'm not middle ground. So a lot of things like that, it was more Noel dealt with it. I only dealt with it when I seen Noel couldn't handle it. But for the most, because they know when it get to me, I'm black and white. It's
Yeah.
like this, it's like that. It ain't no middle ground with me. So Noel's the more now, because like Noel was saying the other day, our kids was older at that time when we actually got together. But for me, I kind of let Noel deal with it. Noel's the one who's always compromising and thinking about it and processing it. Me, I'm like, no, they doing this,
Right.
this, that. And she's like, Alfred, I'm like, no. So I said, if it come to me, it's gonna be black and white. So go ahead and deal with it before it come to me. So that's how we deal with it.
Got it. All right, last question to Mom and Noel. I'll start with you, Noel. We're already on you. What was a mothering style that you had, not just for your kids, but also as a pastor? Your spiritual mothering style. Well, let's stick. Well, yeah. I want you to answer it both, but give me like a 1 minute answer for each one. So what has changed in your mothering style from when you were a young mother compared to now, or um, is well, scratch that. Is there something you would change looking at how you are a mother now compared to how you started as a mother, or would you do it the exact same way because of how you grew and everything else? Or are there things you was like, man, I wish I could have did this as a mother when I was younger, or right now? So let's answer that one first, and then I'm gonna follow it up with another answer for you. So, is there a mothering style that you had when you were younger that you would change right now? That's the
Mhm.
first question. Or you liked
Mhm.
how it started and you like where it is now?
So definitely, if I could go back, of course, there's a big. I'm a different person now, obviously. So I like this version of me better when I look back. This version of me as a mother, as a woman too, but as a mother, than I did back then, because I was a young mother,
Give me
and
one thing you would change. Give me one thing you would change
I would
from back
I
then.
would definitely okay. I would definitely change the way I approached uh discipline, because when I disciplined, now I wasn't like an abuser or anything per se, but I would verbally really go in on because I had one biological child, and I would like holler and scream at him, and I would cuss. I ain't always been walking with Jesus. Let's tell the truth. And I
She
would
was
be
a
cussing.
cusser.
I was a bad cusser, and I used to cuss him out. He'd be a little kid, and I'd be cussing him out. He don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'd be cussing him out. So, now when I see people do it, I be like, I'm appalled. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. And it's like, but that was me. But I didn't know. So I used to do
Yeah,
that. So I would definitely say that was definitely one of the things that, as a mother or a mothering style, that I would definitely change, or if I could go back. Because I used to be really like yelling and screaming
yeah,
and cussing and, doing all of that. And sometimes that can, when you look at it over time, that can really hurt a child, even though
yeah,
you're not doing it on purpose, but sometimes it can hurt them. And I'm just grateful that, I know now, I know better, and I learned early enough where I didn't, I guess you could say, ruin them, or
yeah.
then God blessed me with more children with my husband, so I didn't mess them up, you know what I mean? Because
Right,
they were
right.
younger
Okay,
than Justin. They were still, children when we
right.
got together.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now what about you being a pastor and helping your husband pastor the church? Because it's not that like what do you see as far as you being a mother to other people in the church now? Because there's grown men and grown women, but they're coming for advice, they're coming for nurturing, they're coming for instruction. Like how do you implement, or is it a totally different mothering style because these aren't your kids, but spiritually you're like still responsible for them? So what do you do as far as mothering when it comes to people that are in the church?
So, obviously one thing for sure is patience. Like I used, I don't judge. I'm not judgmental. I'm very patient, and I don't jump to conclusions. Sometimes we just assume, we will walk in on a scenario and we'll assume that this is what's happening with the children or whatever, and just go off all the way, or just go make up your own, I guess. You deduce it to what you think it is, right? Instead of finding out
Yeah,
the whole story. Let me get the whole story. Let me see what's going on. Because a lot of times I find in ministry that it's another underlying issue that is causing certain behaviors that are happening. So as a spiritual mother, if you say, or if it's spiritual foster mom, or whatever people call it now, right? Um, you have to really be able to look and delve in and say, okay, you know what, these behaviors are happening, but let's figure out why they're happening so we can correct these things.
right,
And then, of course, doing it in love, because back in the day, okay, so the before Jesus, Noel would have been like, no, you gonna figure it out, or else, right? Now it's like, okay, let's just go through the process. Let's find out what this is all about. Why is this happening? Let's see what we can do to make it change, and then the behaviors can begin to change. So definitely patience, love, um comfort sometimes, and it is a nurturing thing. So whether it's spiritual or natural, as a mother, we have to have a certain level, I guess you could say, level of nurturing inside of us to be able to do that,
yeah.
because people need that as well. I think
Okay.
that's enough because I be talking.
Well,
All
that was
good, all
good.
good.
That was
Very good.
All right, mom. Same two questions. One, is there what do you think you would change when you were,
That was
looking back now as a mother growing up, compared to as you mother right now? Or would you say, I think what I needed to do at that time is what I needed to do, and I'm glad I did that then, but now that things, things and the times have changed, I've matured more, and now, this. So would you keep things the way that they were, or would you look back and say, now I would definitely change this and this and that? So what do you have to say about that question first?
Mhm. Well, I would say I knew. Well, at the time, I didn't know because
right.
when you're younger, nobody tell you anything,
Right.
and so you assume that you're right in every situation. So, but when I went to a ministry school, and then we had what was that class that Doctor L. Harvey taught?
Um, but ministry in the family.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And and in that class he taught about character, and that's when
Mm-hmm.
it hit me. It's like, oh my God, and I didn't know that I had the character issues.
Yeah.
And then when I found that out, that's when I began to change, and I didn't change overnight because it was a learning process. It's just something that I had to learn that I was doing, not so much what somebody was doing to me, but it was something that I was doing it. It's something that I had to change. And over time, I that changed. But
Mm-hmm.
and so back then that's what made me who I am today. It was my character.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I think it
Okay.
was the class, the fruit of the spirit, was it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. That's
class,
it.
fruit of the
Fruit
spirit.
of the
Yeah.
spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you
Okay.
got to have trust me, nowadays you got to have all of those with eight is up eight
Nine
all,
fruits.
all nine fruits in your life, because if not,
Right.
that root will come up and that root will take over that fruit.
I know that's right. Now, what about your mothering spiritually? Do you carry over any of your natural mothering skills, or is mothering spiritually with church and people that come in a totally different thing for you?
Yes, yes, spirit. Well, thank God for those gifts that I had in my life, and to with the as a pastor's wife, I was the type of person, I don't tell nobody how to live or what to do, but
Mm-hmm.
they watch my life, and when they see my life, they want to
Emulate.
emanate what I do, and so you be surprised. Every woman that stepped into our ministry wanted to be like Dr. Bev, because that's what I portray. So whatever you put in front of somebody, that's what they're going to become. And so it's no sense in me being jealous because I'm looking at myself out there. But and as far as loving them, I never browbeated them. Then when they wanted to talk to me, they would make an appointment and talk to me about different situations in their life, and I was there as a mother for them. And I would, when I see I get some good advice, I know I give good advice.
Right.
and
Right.
and 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 when I give women advice, and I always tell them, may the best woman win.
I know that's right.
Bottom line.
I know that's right. Well,
And I win every all of them. Go
I know
ahead.
that's right. Now, she, she said that that she had learned something in that class, and there was some things that kind of really, grabbed a hold of her concerning her character and everything else, and those things changed. Well, I'm here to say that whatever Dr. Al Harvey taught her, I think it worked a little too well, because what she did with us compared to what she do with her grandkids, I'd be appalled, y'all. I'd be appalled at what these grandkids is able to get away with her and my daddy. I am floored at what they're able to get away with. The things that they do, the things that they say, and it's just kind of like sometimes I be having to jump in with the grandkids. I'm like, hold on, you ain't finna, and it's
Right.
just like it's just totally different. I don't know if all these fruits is operating a little too good or something, because I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. So but whatever the case is, the grandkids are blessed. We're blessed as the
Yeah.
kids. We're thankful for what God has done in her life and what God is doing in her life. I'm sure Pastor Al can say the same thing about Noel. I'm sure Noel's kids can say the same thing about
Yeah.
her. The way that she did them compared to their grandkids, it's like I don't know what happens. Folks just get saved. Folks just find the love of God all of a sudden. It's unconditional all of a sudden. I don't understand what that is. But But yeah, but we getting ready to go, y'all. We have enjoyed being with everybody all week long. All the way from Doctors Alfred and Beverly Craig, all the way to Pastor Al and Pastor Noel. Listen, we are
I would love it.
we have been excited to have everybody on with us all week long. We pray that you have
Oh,
gotten something
Jesus.
good out of this. But before we do our last 1 minute things, Dr. Craig, he's going to come, him and Dr. Bev, and just invite you to sow into what's happening here so we can continue this thing on. Is we're going to get bigger, we're going to get better, we're going to get, it's going to get real good, y'all, here real soon. So make sure you're sowing into this ministry, sowing into what God is doing. As you can see, God is doing something with the families, and we believe He's doing something with your family as well. So, Dr. Craig, go ahead
Amen.
and take it away with the seed giving today.
And I
Amen.
want you to know something, that we're being transparent for a
Yes.
reason. Because
Yes.
sometimes you can look at people, pastors, and other people in the church, and we're dressed up on Sundays and things like that. And it looks like, well, something must be wrong with me because my household's totally different. What we're trying to do is just bring in some reality
Mhm.
that the church is not just a place of perfect people,
Yeah,
but we're all
Right.
growing, we're all developing,
that's right.
and we're changing
Yeah.
from being
Right.
the parents that we was, you follow me, to
Yeah.
learn the fruit of the spirit and learn how to do some things. You know what I mean? So that's why we're bringing it morning watch to bring you something
Yeah.
that's real fresh, something that's relevant. You can actually take and use in your home.
That's
So
right.
so
Yes.
now, as I say all the time, there's many programs out there, but they're supported by commercials and things like that. I'm not putting that down. That's on a secular level. As Christians, the Bible gives us a specific way that God wants the church and things that are ministry oriented to be done. He says through tithe and often through sowing your seeds and things like that. And Paul mentioned it really in the book of Philippians. He talked about because he had what you call a parachurch ministry. He was an apostle. He's a traveling ministry. And this right here is what you call also like a parachurch ministry. It means we're coming alongside the church, you know what I mean, in those areas. And so to bring you some things on a daily basis. So what God says, according to Apostle Paul, we need partners.
Mhm.
Partners are those that say, you know what, I believe in what you all are doing. I want to sow into that. And the Bible says that according to Luke 6:38, give and it shall be given to you again. Good measure, pressed down, shaking and running over shall men give into your bosom. So God says, get me involved in your life.
Yes.
When you have a ministry that's giving this in Jesus' name, and I'm believing God with you for supernatural finances to come your way.
Praise
Now, the way you do it right on your screen right now, there's ways on how you can give. You can give through Zelle right there on our church